What we want for ourselves, we want for all, which is why we do what we do. And I hope you guys are enjoying this little tale, this story, because I know that I am. Chapter 10, in which the young man learns to master his unconscious mind. After this long and heartfelt statement, the old millionaire seemed exhausted, and became silent for several minutes. Then he continued, carefully stretching each word. The formula, or affirmation, I have given you is so powerful. Even if in the beginning you believe it highly unlikely you will ever become a millionaire, you will be able to become one. Just do the same thing with the formula that you did with the message on the computer. Accept it as the truth. If you have faith that you will be able to accomplish something, you will. Remember my example in the last video. Plant the seeds in your own mind, and you are cultivating it within yourself, because the world is but a reflection of your inner world, and your thoughts, your moods, and your feelings are all what is happening inside of you in your inner world. In the case of the computer, the young man said, I let myself be tricked. I lost my head, but this formula is a different matter altogether. I have a problem believing I can become a millionaire 6 years from now. Even if you don't believe in the formula now, it'll begin acting on you. The more you internalize it, the more powerful it becomes. The more the seed grows into a plant. It's not your reasoning or conscious mind that you must convince. Remember the threat. Part of you, your imagination, accepted it as real. And the imagination is what some people call the unconscious mind. It is the hidden part of your mind, and much more powerful than the conscious part. Another word for the unconscious mind that he is talking about is subconscious mind, the mind that deals with the internal world of you. And then the conscious part of your mind deals with the external world of you. It guides your entire life. I could spend hours talking to you about the theory of the unconscious, but it's enough for you to know that the unconscious is extremely susceptible to the power of words. Now do you know why you are having so much difficulty believing the undeniable fact that you can become a millionaire in less than 6 years? Sorry, I don't. Well, the fact remains that for years and years you've been telling yourself you can't. Words have been engraving themselves in your unconscious deeply. In fact, every experience, every thought you've ever had, every word you've ever heard has become indelibly etched in your unconscious. In the long run, this prodigious memory becomes your self-image. Without realizing it, your past experiences and your inner monologue have convinced you that you aren't the type of person who can become a millionaire, even if, objectively speaking, you have all the qualities to do so. And you could do so more easily than you can imagine. Your self-image, like everyone else's, is so powerful that it unwittingly becomes your destiny. Outer circumstances end up matching the image you have of yourself with amazing precision. To become rich, you have to create a new self-image. Perhaps I can. I'm quite willing to try. The only snag is that I'm not really sure where to start. Think about the threat you experienced. It wasn't real, yet it affected you as if it was. All you have to do is to play the same trick on yourself. Your unconscious won't be any wiser for it. Think about it. From childhood on, each suggestion you have accepted, whether true or false, in effect has tricked your unconscious. You may now accept something that was potentially true, potentially untrue. So now you're going to experience the same thing. Your unconscious can be influenced at will. It is as easy as child's play. And once it has been influenced in the way you want it to, you will be able to obtain exactly what you want out of life. Why? Because your unconscious will be convinced that you can obtain all of these things. It will accept them as true in the same way that it's now accepting the fact that you can't get more out of life. This ties in with what I said earlier. Man is the reflection of the thoughts stored in his unconscious. The most important thing is to pretend, as best as you can, that something is true. Why does this work with the unconscious? Simply because, though the unconscious may be powerful, it cannot discriminate between truth and falsehood. Yes, but what happens if there's a conflict between my conscious and unconscious? What happens if my conscious mind refuses to accept the idea of wealth? The best solution is repetition. This technique is commonly called self-suggestion. Now, remember that plant, that seed example that I was telling you about. Sorry, I got the hiccups. I'm fighting it. The inner monologue that all of us live. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and read all that again. The best solution is repetition. This technique is commonly called self-suggestion. Each one of us is subject to it throughout our lives. Every day we are influenced by our inner and outer suggestions. And again, if you weren't with me in the series of how the mind works, we talk about suggestions, both inner suggestions and outer suggestions. Inner suggestions are the suggestions, the thoughts you are thinking to yourself. And then the outer suggestions are the thoughts that you are being influenced by your environment. The inner monologue that all of us live with continually shapes our lives. Some of us repeat to ourselves that we will never be successful because we come from a family of people who aren't successful, or because we have had failures, or because we think we haven't had enough education, or don't have enough money, or skills, or intelligence, or management ability, or good luck, and on it goes. So we drift from failure to failure. Not because we don't have the necessary qualities to succeed, but because that's how we unconsciously picture ourselves. Now there's one thing I want to say too. True success is from doing what you love to do. It's not about how big your house is. It's not about how much money you have in the bank. It's not about any of that stuff, not about the material qualities you have. True success is that you follow your heart, you find what you love to do, and you are doing it. You find your passion, and you are changing the lives of those around you for the better. Because not only are you advancing, but you are influencing others to advance with you. That is true success. Some people believe they will never attract a partner, the millionaire continued, and yet they have all kinds of attractive qualities. Potential partners run from them like the plague. The power of their self-image, which is the reflection of the unconscious, is responsible for this. It brings about the circumstances that makes others avoid them. But the repetition of negative formulas, which have such a tremendous impact on our lives, can be used in a different way, and that's what we're going to do. The unconscious is a slave that can dominate us because it is immensely powerful, but it is also blind, and you have to learn to play tricks on it. Now there's one thing I want to say right there. Don't look at your subconscious mind as your slave, because it is not. It is a part of who you are. You wouldn't want to slave half of yourself, would you? It is your world within, and it's what happens inside of you. The subconscious is more of your higher self, if you prefer. Like the iceberg you see in the Atlantic. Here's the water, and here's the top of the iceberg, which could be likened to your conscious mind. That is everything the conscious mind could deal with. Then the subconscious mind, the bigger part of the iceberg, which comes down to like way out here, that is the power of the conscious mind, and in comparison with the subconscious. The thing with the conscious is that it has the power to direct what is happening under here. If you weren't with me in the book, The Master Key System, Charles F. Hannell, he refers to the conscious mind as the watchman of the gate, or the master of the ship. It is the watchman of the subconscious mind. It is the part of you that keeps away any negative suggestions and only accepts good suggestions. And it's also the part of you that directs the internal world, the subconscious part of you, which is what is the powerhouse of who you really are, of your mind. And yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and continue. The young man didn't fully understand everything the millionaire was saying, yet he was eager to find out more. The beauty of this theory is that you don't really have to believe in it to use it, the millionaire said. But to get results, you have to put it to use. They won't come magically on their own. Everything, as I've said, depends on repetition, even if you don't believe it at first. Try it, at least for a couple of days. That's long enough for you to start feeling its effect. This might seem simplistic, but let me tell you that it is the most potent secret on the face of the earth. Words have tremendous power. Remember the first words of St. John in the Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Self-suggestion plays a major role in our lives. If you remain unaware of it, it will work against you more often than not. But if you decide to use it, all its tremendous powers will be at your disposal. There is another quote I want to say to you that is said by Jesus himself, Jeshua. He says, "Man shall not eat by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from his mouth." "Well, I think you've convinced me to try," said the young man, "although, to tell you the truth, I'm still a little skeptical." "That's all right. Just remember to base your judgment on the results rather than on intellectual criteria. Now, come with me and I'll show you what to do." Okay, now one more thing with the slave thing of your subconscious. The subconscious part of you is more of the lover. It responds more to persuasion. Persuade yourself that you could do it. Don't demand yourself that you could do it. Either way works, but this way works so much better when you're gentle with it, with yourself, and you're not demanding it towards yourself. There will be those times where you do need to be a little bit more firmer on your words and your self-suggestions, especially when it comes to certain conditions or circumstances or what somebody else comes and tells you or tries to tell you. People are here to support you, but there are also those people who won't understand any of this stuff and aren't willing to listen to it or to learn about it, and they will tell you things about it, whether it's if they intend to be negative about it or not. It's you're the one who's doing the work, you're the one who's reading it, you're the one who's learning about it. There will be those times where you will need to be a little bit more firm about your self-suggestions, but remember that the subconscious is the womb of creation. It is the storehouse where all creation takes place. It is the storehouse where you manifest things in the outer world. Love it. Use love with it. Persuade it. And that is the end of chapter 10, in which the young man learns to master his unconscious or subconscious mind. And we will continue with chapter 11, in which the young man and his mentor discuss figures and formulas. Again, my name is Corey. If this is your first time with me, I thank you for watching the video. If you've been with me this whole time, I applaud you, and I want to congratulate you for taking the initiative of learning with me and taking this and watching this to help take you to the next step of your life. Because remember, it's not always about doing things. Sometimes it's about sitting down and getting the right information. And once you have found the right information, that's when you go and make it happen. That being said, if you like this video, please share it and subscribe, and I'll see you in a few minutes.